AskReddit by Inspired Koala. What's your non-negotiable lifestyle habit requirement for dating someone? Generally sleeps and has free time during the same hours I do, which is a normal office job type situation. Nothing against folks who are chefs or touring musicians or event coordinators or anything, but I tried to date a few people who had totally different schedules from me and it is just too logistically hard. That and personally maybe I'm a little needy attached in relationships, so the every so often whenever we can would not work for me. I'd drive myself and inevitably the person I'm dating nuts. Chilling. Just being able to sit and mellow. I really cannot gel with people who can't sit still or just want to do stuff all the time. I was dating a guy who was like this. Doing so much exciting stuff, but non-stop. Diagnosed ADHD. I realized I was getting tired from just listening to what he did before our date. He was great, but it was clear to me pretty soon that we were not meant to be. They have to have good hygiene and take care of themselves. Clean teeth, nails, skin, hair, and general appearance. Not even over the top, just basic hygiene stuff. The amount of men that tried to get handsy with my private parts and didn't wash their hands before handies. When I started to pay attention, I suddenly did understand why I had frequent yeast infections but never when I was single. Communication. If we can't talk through about things productively, there's just no connection there for me whatsoever. Also humor. I get so bored around people who can't make me laugh. These are two of my top answers. 2. I knew my boyfriend, now husband, was a keeper when I was emotional over something totally out of his control and he was calm, hugged me, and asked how can I help even though the answer was nothing. It showed maturity and a willingness to validate my emotions and lean into support. I'll add a third line that all people, regardless of gender, nationality, sexual orientation, or race deserve basic human rights. They must have a high level of participation when board games are pulled out. I am the opposite. Please don't make me play board games all night. My brain can't handle it. Showering. Is the bar set that low? I'd want to say that's a given, but at this point. There are people who are always cold and don't let you open windows to let some fresh air in. I like sleeping in a cold room. Putting up with a stuffy one is a deal breaker. We could have had something special but our temperatures are incompatible. A tale as old as time. Having a mature mindset. Being childish is sometimes cute, but I prefer having a guy I can rely on and feel safe around. Make me laugh when I need it and take things seriously when needed. I'm sick of dating people who would rather give me the silent treatment or bottle things up instead of communicating like an adult. People who cannot have a serious conversation without trying to make it into a joke. And people who are just plain irresponsible with money. Having a great sense of humor and being kind to animals. My pets tell me that I'm funny. Is that okay? Share some interest for something else than a screen. Ice cream. They also don't want kids. I've been with my wife for 13 years. I told her in our second week of knowing each other I do not want kids ever. She stuck around, supported my vasectomy. We enjoy to travel and our intimate life is great. She now dislikes kids more than me now, lol. Not a smoker, including vaping. I've got a nicotine allergy. I will end up severely ill and possibly hospitalized. Same. I have loved ones who smoke. So, for me, it's not about judging anyone. But it's hard to imagine having a full relationship with someone you could never kiss without heaving and wheezing. Wash your hands, brush your teeth, clean your ass in the shower, wear deodorant, change your sheets somewhat regularly. It's amazing how many grown men don't do these things. OMG, the third one. The horror my friends who are not on Reddit hear about the timeless post on here that revealed just how many men don't wash their butts because it'll turn them gay. I cannot even. I don't want anyone who wants children in the future or already has children. They expect me to be a step parent too. It's not that I don't like children, I'm just not interested in parenting them. Last part is so real. So many people seem to think don't want kids equals hate children when it's really just, I don't mind kids, I simply would not be a good parent and I know that, so I have no interest in having my own. No hard drug alcohol addictions. I don't even care if you don't work. Been through enough challenges in my and my family's lives to have to avoid addiction-led lifestyles altogether. I have had to set the bar at not currently in active addiction. Having a social life outside of a relationship. Going out with friends without my partner. I used to think this until I met my wife. We both are like, my partner is my best friend, why would I wanna do thing without him deliberately? Now don't get me wrong, we do things separately, but there's never any exclusion to it. It just ends up that I don't drink coffee, so she goes and does that, while she doesn't play the same games I do, so I do that. I think actually being open-minded, like yeah, I'm a left-wing guy, and I support all the things. But I want someone that if they like music, they'll try all different genres. If they like ice cream, they've tried different flavors. I swear, the worst people I've dated are the ones that aren't curious to try more things in their life. I've dated someone that was only into musicals, and they thought everything else was inferior. They didn't try to get into anything new, and I basically feel like I outgrew him, as he dug deeper into certain opinions that he refused to budge on. Like not respect any other opinion. Got worse as he surrounded himself with echo chamber friends, and couldn't stand him. Yes. Worse even, is hating on things other people like. Let PPL live. I love to cook and go to nice restaurants. I'm an adventurous eater and like nearly all food when it's prepared well. I love to try new food and experiment with new recipes. I couldn't date someone who is a picky eater or some super fitness obsessed person who barely eats. We would be fundamentally incompatible. Thankfully my wife is also an adventurous eater and loves my cooking. I also wanted children, and now have a 6-year-old son. I wouldn't date someone who was adamant about being child free. It's a fundamental incompatibility. And I love dogs. Especially corgis and German shepherds. I could never be with someone who doesn't like dogs. My wife will basically eat anything out on front of her. I am picky because of taste texture issues, but I can find something I like at just about any place I go. The trick to it is, I don't care if she eats something I don't like. It doesn't hurt me, and sometimes if the moon is aligned properly with the nerdball dimension, I will be the adventurous one about food. Not necessarily a lifestyle habit, but that person must have a strong sense of identity and must have a set of fundamental values that she upholds with conviction. That way everything feels more genuine and that person is unlikely to cave into societal pressure. In my opinion, constantly conforming to whatever society dictates is cool can be very detrimental to a person's relationships and mental health. Edit. Oh, and that person must have a refined sense of style. Welp. I'm gonna be alone for life. And amp. Probably even better if your values align. Someone who doesn't want to improve, not by my assistance but on their own accord. Have a passion for something. Also what I want from friends GBH. Must like animals. My pets are part of my family. Also mature with good communication. If I don't like the way you naturally smell, it's not happening. I dated a guy who had a constant odor. Even if he showered twice a day, he had yellow fuzz growing on his balls and his sweat smelled like piss mixed with teenage boy dirty clothes in the summer. It was bad. He tried yeast stuff and antifungal but nothing helped. The last year of our relationship we only had sex twice and both times I was blackout drunk. He wasn't, and I had no idea that I had sex with him. No, I did not have any self-respect at the time. Yes, I know a smell seems like a weird thing to be so bent on, but after that experience I will never be with someone who just stinks again. My husband can go 3 days without a shower, and while he will be musky, it's not repellent. Totally get that. I dated a smoker that sweated a lot. He drenched t-shirts just doing normal daily stuff. He smelled so bad because he smoked. Like he sweated out or something. Laying under him was like standing under a trickling shower. I get nauseous just remembering that. I also had no self-respect at the time. Must love cats. They were here before I met you, and they'll be here long after you're gone. My guy wasn't into cats before. He thought they were all assholes that weren't capable of bonding with people. Then he met mine. My cat Salem is obsessed with him, and they are best buds now. He even decorated the cat tree with Christmas lights, brings presents home for the cat all the time, and recently I overheard him shutting down his family having an argument over which of his sister's dogs were the worst behaved by stating, "I prefer cats now. They are so much easier." He has officially become cat dad. Deleted.